Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. The Modi cabinet portfolios have been allocated, major ministries unchanged. There's been a boost for allies and regional balance, and the ministers are taking charge today. Monsoon is moving into western and northeastern parts of India. There's a heat wave likely to return to northern states. This is an IMD alert. BRICS Foreign Ministers issue joint statement. They express serious concern at the continued conflicts in the Middle East and North Africa and call for comprehensive reform of the UN Security Council. The UN Security Council endorses the US-sponsored Gaza ceasefire resolution. Hamas welcomes the plan. They say that they're ready to cooperate. Tensions escalate as North and South Korea exchange trash and leaflet balloons. South Korea fires warning shots after border incursion. Ministers in the third government of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi have begun assuming office on Tuesday, a day after they were allocated their portfolios. The Modi 3.0 government, it comprises of 72 ministers. In a sign of continuity, the top four posts remained unchanged, with Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, Nirmala Sitharaman and S. Jaishankar retaining the Home, Defence, Finance and External Affairs portfolios respectively. The BJP President JP Nadda got the Health Ministry, and the Cabinet's new entrants include the senior BJP leader Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who's been assigned to the Ministry of Agriculture. Ministers from the National Democratic Alliance, they are partners. They include Ram Mohan Naidu, who is from the TDP, and he's got the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and Chirag Paswan of the LJP of Rampilas, that is the party, and he has been allocated the Food Processing Ministry. The External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar took charge of his office today. A former diplomat, Jaishankar is a Rajya Sabha member, and this is his second term as the External Affairs Minister.
It's for me an immense honor, a very great privilege to be once again given the responsibility of leading the Ministry of External Affairs. In the last term, this ministry actually performed exceptionally well. It rose to many challenges. We delivered where the G20 presidency was concerned. We took on the challenges of COVID, including Vande Bharat mission and vaccine Maitri supplies. So quite apart from the normal diplomacy, I think I really deem it a matter of great satisfaction that in the last decade, this ministry under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has become a very people-centric ministry. You can see that in terms of our improved passport services, in terms of the community welfare fund support that we give to Indians abroad, in terms of how we respond to different needs of Indians when they leave our shores or preparing to leave our shores.
And DD India correspondent Jessica Taneja gets us more on this.
External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, took charge this morning, highlighting that India will continue to prioritize its neighbourhood first policy, as seen during India's G20 presidency and earlier during the COVID time, where India provided vaccines to a lot of nations around the world. India will continue to be the Vishwaguru and also enhance security cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. Relationship with Pakistan and China will continue to be skillfully navigated for now. Jessica Taneja with Moit Joshi in New Delhi for DD India.
Ashwini Vaishnav, who has retained the Railways and Information Technology Ministries, also assumed office. Apart from these two ministries, he's also been allocated the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Kiren Rijiju assumed charge as the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and the Minister of Minority Affairs in the new Union Cabinet. Chirag Paswan took charge in the Ministry of Food Processing as well. And Chirag Paswan also took charge of the Ministry of Food Processing. We had earlier showed you Jitendra Singh taking charge. And this is Dr. Jitendra Singh taking charge as the Minister of State with independent charge of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences. L. Murugan also retained his previous charge of the Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting. The Telugu Desam Party Supremo, Chandrababu Naidu, is set to take oath as the Chief Minister of the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh on Wednesday. Last week, Naidu's TDP surged to power after unseating the YRS Congress party in the assembly polls, which were held simultaneously with the general elections in the state. The Bharatiya Janata Party, legislature party of Odisha, is holding a meeting on Tuesday to elect the Chief Minister of the state. The BJP on June 4 had secured a majority by winning 78 seats in the 147-member Odisha Assembly. However, the party is yet to choose a leader who will be at the helm of affairs of the state. The BJP has appointed Union Ministers Rajnath Singh and Bhupendra Yadav to oversee the selection of the new Chief Minister of Odisha. India's maiden solar mission, Aditya L1, has captured images of the sun using the remote sensing payloads on board during the solar storm that occurred last month, capturing dynamic images of activities inside Earth's nearest star. These images will assist astrophysicists in studying solar flares, their energy distribution and sunspots. It will also help in understanding and predicting space weather while monitoring solar activity and UV radiation. The monsoon is moving into Maharashtra, Telangana and Odisha. The India Meteorological Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall over Maharashtra and coastal and north interior Karnataka in the coming week. The Met Department has issued a yellow alert for Mumbai, indicating that conditions are conducive for monsoon to arrive in the city. On the other hand, heatwave conditions are prevailing over northwest India starting from today. The heatwave conditions are likely to persist over the east and central East India, Uttar Pradesh and northeast Madhya Pradesh throughout the week. Delhi is bracing for dust storms and thunderstorms. Temperatures could reach a sweltering 42 degrees Celsius. The city is expecting some rain and humidity levels are up. The flood situation in Assam has improved since the past few days. The number of flood-affected villages has come down to 62 in 6 districts as the situation continues to improve. NDRF and SDRF teams are carrying out rescue operations and providing relief items to the people in the flood-affected areas. The Supreme Court on Tuesday issued a notice to the National Testing Agency seeking a response to the plea seeking fresh national eligibility entrance test undergraduate examination 2024 over an alleged paper leak and irregularities. The court also refused to stay the counselling process for admissions in MBBS, BDS and other courses for successful candidates. The matter has been listed for further hearing on July 8. Let's take a look at other news stories coming in. And India's Central Board of Secondary Education has issued an advisory on Monday urging students and parents to beware of misinformation about the syllabus, study materials and sample question papers for the 2024-25 academic session. The board said that information from unauthorized sources can be misleading using unauthorized sources among stakeholders. A National Investigation Agency team reached Jammu and Kashmir's Riyasi district following a terror attack on a passenger bus. The team is coordinating with local police to probe the incident, which left 9 people dead and several injured. Still to come here on DD India Live. French politicians scramble to organize their campaigns for a snap general election. Baltimore Port Key Channel reopens after bridge collapse. Yannick Sinner makes history as he becomes the first Italian world number 1 in the ATP rankings.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. Chaos erupted in the Israeli parliament as legislators moved ahead with a controversial bill on conscripting ultra-Orthodox Jewish students into the military. The bill, which must still pass committee hearings, would see a gradual entry into the military of ultra-Orthodox Jews who have traditionally resisted serving in the armed forces. The move comes a day after the centrist minister Benny Gantz quit Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's government. Although originally put forward by Gantz in 2022 under a previous government, he now opposes this conscription bill, which he says is inadequate for new personnel demands facing the military. The United Nations Security Council has adopted a resolution endorsing a US-backed ceasefire proposal that aims to end the Israel-Gaza conflict. The proposal sets out conditions for a full and complete ceasefire, the release of hostages held by Hamas, and the exchange of Palestinian prisoners. 14 of the 15 Security Council members voted in favor of the US-drafted resolution, while Russia abstained. The vote is likely to increase pressure on both sides to respond positively to the plan with a view to ending the conflict. It also came shortly after U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met with foreign leaders, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in an attempt to build support for the peace deal. Monday's resolution comes weeks after the U.S. President Joe Biden said the Israelis had agreed to the plan. U.S. President Biden accounts on X, and what he said there, he said that Hamas says it wants a ceasefire, and he also said the deal is an opportunity to prove that they mean it. Hamas has welcomed the deal, the UN Security Council resolution that is, backing the proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza, saying that they are ready to cooperate with mediators over implementing the principles of this plan. Now, Hamas has also said that they are willing to engage in indirect negotiations over implementation of the principles that are consistent with demands of their people and resistance.
Enable a surge of humanitarian.
India participated in the BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting in Russia on Monday. Senior diplomat Dhammu Ravi led the Indian delegation at the BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting. In a joint statement, the leaders exchanged views on major global and regional issues. They reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening the framework of BRICS strategic partnership under the three pillars of cooperation, politics and security, economy and finance, culture and people-to-people exchanges. The ministers called on the international community to seek collective answers to global and regional challenges and security threats, including terrorism. BRICS members recalled their national positions concerning the situation in and around Ukraine. They expressed their serious concern at continued conflicts in the Middle East and North Africa. They called for effective implementation of relevant UNGA resolutions and UNSC resolution 2720, and for immediate, safe and unhindered delivery of humanitarian assistance at scale directly to the Palestinian civilian population throughout the Gaza Strip. They reaffirmed their support for Palestine's full membership in the United Nations and a commitment to a two-state solution based on international law. They called also for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire and a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Sudan. And they called for an urgent peaceful settlement in Afghanistan to strengthen regional security and stability. The Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, stated that transitioning towards a new world order will be long and challenging. Leading a BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting on Monday, the BRICS ministers agreed on enhancing strategic partnerships and issued a joint statement. Dasha Chernysheва, DD India correspondent in Moscow, sends us a report.
Speaking to the foreign ministers of the BRICS countries in one of Russia's oldest cities, Nizhny Novgorod, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said the BRICS expansion is a vivid example of a multipolar world order establishment. He accused the US of trying to hamper this process by using economic tools to maintain its dominance. Lavrov also said that the BRICS countries are actively working to develop a platform for settlements in national currencies. It is the first time that the BRICS foreign ministers are meeting in a new expanded format after Egypt, Iran, the UAE, Saudi Arabia and Ethiopia joined the group in January this year. According to Russian Foreign Ministry, the sides have agreed on a joint statement and several bilateral meetings were held on the sidelines. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said Beijing was ready to counteract external threats together with Moscow. Lavrov thanked Beijing for not taking part in the Swiss conference on Ukraine. The situation in the Middle East was also on the agenda, with Egypt's foreign minister discussing humanitarian aid to Gaza and the crisis in Sudan with Lavrov. On Tuesday, over a dozen more countries will join the discussions in Nizhny Novgorod as BRICS is working out the modalities of partner states. Dasha Chernysheва in Nizhny Novgorod reporting for DD India.
South Korea and the US complete the review of joint guidelines for nuclear deterrence on Monday. In a joint statement, the officials said that South Korea and the United States were working to adopt joint guidelines aimed at better coordinating an allied nuclear response during a potential war with North Korea. Senior defense officials from both sides held the third nuclear consultative group talks in Seoul. Both sides reviewed draft guidelines which lay out the principles and procedures for maintaining and enhancing a credible and effective nuclear deterrence policy and posture. The talks came as North Korea races ahead to advance its nuclear weapons and their delivery systems. South Korea activists quietly released some smart balloons for flights deep into the north And what happened is that the specialized balloons are equipped with a leaflet dispenser, bundles of speakers, as well as a GPS tracker. And their aim is to reach as far as Pyongyang. They want to reach Pyongyang, disseminating thousands of leaflets and also airing pre-recorded messages critical of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un. The Seoul-based activist group says that these so-called smart balloons can cost up to $1,000 each, and they are filled with helium and hydrogen and are capable of carrying payloads of up to 7.5 kgs or kilograms. The balloon tactics have seized the spotlight in the frosty relationship between the two Koreas since last month, when the North sent hundreds of its own balloons carrying trash to the South. The Filipino President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., on Monday said that the country should be prepared for any eventuality because of more pronounced external threats driven by heightened tension in the Indo-Pacific. In a speech addressing troops at a military camp in Isabela province in the northern region, Marcos said that the Philippines' proximity to Taiwan puts it in China's area of interest. Marcos added that the Philippines was not trying to redraw lines of sovereign territory, including its exclusive economic zone, and that the country was committed to defending itself while engaging in diplomacy. His remarks were shared by the presidential palace on Tuesday. Tensions have escalated further, and South Korea's military had fired warning shots at the weekend after some North Korean soldiers briefly crossed the border amid a recent rise in tension over Pyongyang's launch of balloons carrying trash into the South. The incident came as the North has sent thousands of balloons containing trash in recent days to the South, including hundreds over the weekend, calling it a response to a campaign by the North Korean defectors in the South who have flown balloons carrying anti-Pyongyang leaflets into the direction of the North. French politicians from the left and the right are scrambling to organize their campaigns for the snap general elections, which are under 3 weeks away. And President Emmanuel Macron called these lightning elections after a disastrous performance by his party in the European Union parliamentary elections on June 9. The U.S. federal agencies said on Monday that they have restored full access for commercial maritime transit through the port of Baltimore after the removal of 50,000 tons of debris from the March 26 collapse of the Key Bridge. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said a survey on Monday had certified that the riverbed was safe for transit. The fully operational channel will allow two-way traffic, and the cargo ship Dali had crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in March in Baltimore. That incident resulted in 6 people dying and, the entire major transportation artery of the U.S. Northeast getting paralyzed. Some sports news now, and Yannick Sinner has created history by becoming the first Italian #1 player in the latest PIF ATP rankings. The 22-year-old was presented with the ATP World #1 trophy by the tour chairman Andrea Gaudenzi. Novak Djokovic's withdrawal in the French Open quarters due to a knee injury saw the Italian climb to the summit. Meanwhile, the French Open champion Carlos Alcaraz rose himself to the second in the world, with Djokovic dropping to the third. Yannick Sinner began 2024 ranked 4th, but he grabbed his first major title at the Australian Open along with the Masters 1000 title at Miami. Sinner becomes the 29th player to rise to the #1 in the history of the PIF ATP rankings since they began in 1973. In 10 days from now, the world will mark the 10th International Yoga Day, and this day of yoga, it approaches, and India's Prime Minister has shared a set of videos on his X handle, and they will offer guidance on various asanas and their benefits. Yoga has transcended cultural and geographical boundaries, uniting millions across the globe in the pursuit of holistic well-being. Yoga offers a sanctuary of calm, enabling us to navigate life's challenges with calm and fortitude. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get the latest news and updates from India and the world on our app, the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn from all of us here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Tamil Nadu is breathtaking, enchanting, divine, come, revel in the spirit of Tamil Nadu. The Thalaiva of States welcomes you to an experience larger than life.